Hello everybody and welcome to my channel 100% Pure Elvis. Thank you all for taking the time out to return to the channel today. It is most appreciated. As you are all aware, I have just returned home from a holiday visiting family in Southern Ireland near County Tipperary. Had a great family time, and again, believe it or not, I didn't purchase any Elvis Presley items to add to my collection. It wasn't the fact that I wasn't looking. I was looking, but everything that I did see on Elvis I already owned. What I wanted to talk about today is a conversation I had with a couple of my cousins over in Ireland, and it was about Elvis. And they're not massive Elvis fans, but they do appreciate Elvis Presley's music and the impact he had on the musical scene. And for me, we were talking about why some parts of the press perceive Elvis as someone who absolutely destroyed his own career. Now, my whole argument with that was, I don't think Elvis destroyed his career whatsoever. I think Elvis, for me, was at the pinnacle of his career throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Of course, he had blips along the way. And for me, even when you're going into the latter part of the 70s, where Elvis looked unwell, he still had the amazing singing voice that never failed him. We are all aware he was on a medication that obviously had some impact into the way he looked and actually sometimes performed, maybe. But for me, I don't agree with the fact that Elvis was part of his own downfall. What's your opinions? I think for me, also, we were talking about, did Elvis enjoy being Elvis Presley? Now, again, this is from things that they had said they had read, and the fact that Elvis said he was fed up being Elvis Presley. Now, yeah, he might have said that, but to me, that doesn't mean Elvis was bored of being Elvis Presley. Elvis, in my opinion, loved being Elvis Presley, and he has his adoring fans who he loved performing for. And again, I really would have preferred Elvis to have maybe took a year or 2 years out of the touring in probably from about 75. I think he maybe should have took complete time out of the touring schedule. But again, Colonel Tom Parker gets blamed an awful lot in respect of scheduling these tours for Elvis, and there was a lot of them. But a good friend of mine, Gina, who has her own channel, Patrick At's Place for Elvis Fans, she was saying it was also Elvis that wanted to tour consistently because, again, that's what he wanted to do for his fans. He wanted to keep on touring. And again, thank you, Gina, for sharing that information. And again, we then got talking about starting points in regards to biographies on the life of Elvis Presley. Now, the book that I told one of my cousins to purchase because they were really interested in reading an Elvis Presley book, and I said to them, the go-to books are two in the series, and I've actually purchased her the first one. So I purchased it her in paperback, and obviously for me, the best biography that's ever been written on the life of Elvis Presley is Last Train to Memphis, The Rise of Elvis Presley by the amazing Peter Guralnick. And again, I said to my cousin Ema, make this your starting point. If you want to read any book on Elvis Presley, great biography, well written, well researched. There is no negative about this book whatsoever. It's a good sized book, as you all know. It's got over 550 pages. The copy that I'm sharing with you all here is the first edition from 1994. I think everything about this book is perfection. I love the sleeve design. I love the image of Elvis that they chose to put on the front cover. On the back as well, you got something written there by someone called Nick Touches, and it says, in a work of lucent prose and rare perception, Peter Guralnick has given us not only the definitive biography of Elvis Presley, but also a luminous portrait of the America that made and was in turn swayed by him. So again, I was saying to my cousin Ema and her sister Attractor, this is your starting point when you are looking at reading any book on Elvis Presley. And again, for me, you cannot go wrong with this book, in my humble opinion. Now, my cousin did say she doesn't like reading thick books, but I was saying, when you begin to read Last Train to Memphis, The Rise of Elvis Presley, it's a unputdownable book. And what I mean by that is, you read one chapter, you want to get into the next chapter, you want to get into the next chapter. You know, I remember I have read this book, it must be coming on to 10 times now. This is a book that I would go back to time and time again, because for me, I never tire of reading this book. So again, I was saying, in my opinion, this has to be, and still is, the best biography ever written on the life and career of Elvis Presley. Now, I was saying to my two cousins, obviously, this only covers the beginning part of Elvis Presley's career. And then, obviously, I told them, when you have finished reading Last Train to Memphis, you must then go on to its follow-up book, Careless, The Unmaking of Elvis Presley. Now, again, for me, good sized book. And again, this is the first edition from, let me double check, 1999. So again, I love the front cover image again. The cover design is second to none. Elvis on the train, I believe, and absolutely stunning image of Elvis. This is a more difficult read, but for me, again, it is the best follow-up biography on Elvis Presley. Again, what I mean by difficult read is, you got some parts in the book that are quite upsetting on the life of Elvis Presley, and as he has called it, the unmaking of Elvis Presley. Died a very young age in very short time, but gave so much to his adoring public. And again, Careless Love has over, let's have a double check. Now, this has over 760 pages in it. So again, it's thicker than Last Train to Memphis. I've probably only read this book about 3 times. That's not because I don't like it. I absolutely love the book. But again, out of the two, Last Train to Memphis by far is my favourite. But it's a great follow-up book. And again, I just want to get the sleeve up. But the inside, so you got Graceland in winter here. And then obviously on the back, it's this, like, same again, isn't it? And then you got Peter Guralnick there. But again, the praise that Peter Guralnick got for these 2 books, for me, was worth it. He did an absolute great job. And on the back, it's got reviews for Last Train to Memphis. I hope you don't mind if I read them. So the first one was, unrivaled. Elvis steps from these pages. You can feel him breathe. This book cancels out all others. That was from Bob Dylan. Wonderful. Peter Guralnick deserves to live in Graceland. Roddy Doyle. It's hard to reclaim Elvis from the weight of history and slander, but Guralnick, as you might expect from his great book about the soul 60s sweet soul music, does it beautifully. He tells his 25th century myth with a fine regard for his subjects' humanity, John Savage in Mojo magazine. And the last one, a wonderful book. Guralnick gives us an Elvis of real flesh and blood, the richest and most detailed portrait of Presley we have ever had, Tony Parsons. And that was on the book Last Train to Memphis. But again, Careless Love has the same sort of reviews, outstanding reviews. I'm going to try and find some of the images inside, if you don't mind. Obviously, they're all in black and white. He says, so obviously, let's get back. So obviously, you got your 1968 Timex special there with Frank Sinatra. And you know, when I'm talking to you all, it makes me want to read this book again, Careless Love, because I've not read it for so long. Priscilla Presley. And so I'm trying to get some good ones for you. There's really not that many in here. And in a kind of way, I like that because, again, it's a sort of book that you're not reading it for the photos, are you? This is their divorce at the courthouse. But again, for me, a masterpiece of a follow-up work to Last Train to Memphis, Careless Love, the Unmaking of Elvis Presley. So let me put them side by side. So I said to my cousins, you know, these are the two books you need to purchase on the life of Elvis Presley. You don't have to purchase them together, but again, if you could, it'd be great, because as soon as you finish reading Last Train to Memphis, you want to get on to Careless Love as soon as possible. They go hand in hand. For me, my favourite has to go to Last Train to Memphis, but again, a more difficult read, but again, a great follow-up book, Careless Love, the Unmaking of Elvis Presley. Both first editions. So there we go. And then I quickly want to share with you, I've shared this before, like I've shared these books before as well, haven't I? But again, at the time, I also purchased, and unfortunately, I can't remember the year this was released, but it comes in its slipcase. So this is the slipcase. In the United Kingdom, these are called trade paperbacks. So let me get them out. I don't really get them out that often. So again, we have the trade paperback of Last Train to Memphis. Now, see, it's very different, isn't it? Very different front cover. And the reverse. Again, as I said, paperback, trade paperback. And then you're going to Careless Love. And on the back, it's the Aloha from Hawaii. Let me put them back in there. This is the box that they come in. Absolutely stunning. Graceland all around it. I remember I purchased this from a antique bookshop many, many years ago. And again, I was so happy to get it added to the collection. Believe it or not, I have never read these two. These have only been out of this casing probably 5-6 times at most. It's a stunning set from Peter Guralnick. And again, they were all on the LB publishing. I'm trying to see, what does LB stand for? Can't remember. Let me double check for you all. Little Brown and Company. That stands for L&B, Little Brown and Company. And again, I am sorry that I don't know what year this was issued. If anyone knows, please share in the comments below. So again, you know I've shared all them before on my channel, but I really wanted to reiterate for me to all of my subscribers and to any of my new subscribers who have joined my channel since I've been away on holiday. Thank you all so much. If you are looking at reading any book on Elvis Presley's life, please go to them too. there is many more good books on the market on the life of Elvis Presley, but not as good as these. To me, they are above all others. Now, I have not as yet purchased the new Lisa Marie Presley biography. Believe it or not, I will be purchasing that this week. And once I have read the book, I will give my true interpretation and review on the book. I've heard good and indifferent things about the book. So wait for that review to come up real soon. But in the meantime, if you haven't had the opportunity as yet to read Last Train to Memphis and Careless Love by Peter Guralnick, please, take time out. They are a long read, but if you're like me and you're a fast reader and you want this wealth of information, these are the books to go to. And obviously we've got the slipcase. This is quite rare now to get a hold of. And the first editions are, these have been re-released so many times in paperback, so you can pick them up relatively easy. But these are the first editions. Look, thank you all for returning to my channel today, and thank you to all of my new subscribers who have joined the 100% Pure Elvis channel recently. I really appreciate it. It helps make my channel grow. And I always sign out by saying, please keep Elvis close to your heart. Please keep on playing his music. That's most important to me. Keep on reading on Elvis Presley. Lots of love, everybody. Speak soon. Bye-bye.